on today's show.
It's NBA season preview time, and we're back asking the hard-hitting questions.
Which Western team can challenge the Warriors? Do the Cavs remain best in the East? What was the meme of the summer?
And in Crossfire, we debate who has the best chance at winning worst of the year.
Part 1 of the Starters 82 Burning Questions starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to part 1 of the Starters NBA season preview. New season, new desk, same 4 white dudes. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, it's Tass Mellis.
Basketball.
To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily. And last, certainly not least, down yonder, it is the bearded one, it's Trey Kirby.
Ayo!
Ayo! Love the Ayo, but I wouldn't mind the other catchphrase right now.
We're back!
Thank you very much.
Feels good.
We are back. We're very excited, as you can tell, to be back here talking basketball with you as we get ready for the upcoming NBA season. This is part 1 of 9 season preview shows that we're going to drop over the next couple of weeks. But there's a little twist this year. We've kicked things up a little bit. 72 burning questions, no longer. We have cranked it up to 82 burning questions. It's 10 times hotter this year. So we got a whole lot of questions to tackle. We ask you to play along on Twitter, hashtag the starters with your answers. First question, let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
We're talking about the defending champs here, guys. Which team is the Warriors' biggest Western Conference challenger? We're sticking to the West. Who's the biggest threat to the Warriors?
First things first, it's great that these Western Conference teams actually tried to go get the Warriors and didn't stand pat. They could have just said, oh, the Warriors are going to be good. We'll be good in a few years, but they went after it. This is a hard pick. My pick changes every day, but I'm going with the Houston Rockets right now. Mainly because they don't have as many parts that they have to work in, like the Thunder. They have one major part, Chris Paul, and then their minor moves, I think, help their defense and their offense a little bit. They've got a lot of variety in their lineups, and I'm worried about the Spurs and their injuries. Kawhi Leonard out for the preseason with a problem that he's had for a while now, a few times over the last couple of years with his thigh, and Tony Parker's 35. I wonder how he'll bounce back. So it's kind of by default, but I like how the Rockets, I think, will integrate one guy and all those new guys.
What about their depth, though? Because they've got 2 stars, James Harden and Chris Paul. But after that, can they run with the Warriors? Your Trevor Arizas, your Ryan Anderson, your Clint Capella.
They sound deep.
That doesn't sound too deep.
Bob Mute, Tucker coming in.
PJ Tucker.
Look, they've been trying to get rid of Ryan Anderson for as long as they can.
Yeah, but Ryan Anderson is still good.
Yeah,
maybe they were trying to trade him because that's the guy that you would look at that team and say, maybe we can get something for him. Apparently that wasn't the case, but like Tass is saying, they have a lot less integration to do, and you're saying they're not a super deep team, but this is also a Mike D'Antoni team. They play 8 or 9 guys at the most anyways. You don't need a ton of guys.
I get that, but Ryan Anderson's going to get killed on defense.
Yeah, and that's why the move for PJ Tucker goes in there. You know, they go with an Ariza and PJ Tucker at the forward spots with Capella. I mean, you're right. They needed some variety, and Anderson was a bit of a problem in the postseason.
You have no concern at all, though, about moving possibly James Harden from the point guard position, which he really was. I know he was a shooting guard, but he was a point guard really for that Rockets team, and sort of taking the ball out of his hands a little bit and giving it to a guy like Chris Paul and them trying to share it. No concern there, which is why you put it in the Rockets? No.
Well, I think there is a little bit of concern because James Harden has a history of clashing with some high-profile teammates, and Chris Paul also has a history of clashing with some high-profile teammates, and now they both are kind of going to have to play that same position. It's a good problem to have if you're Daryl Morey, but I know that Chris Paul has a reputation, especially when guys get a little bit sloppy on defense, for calling them out. That may cause a problem.
Yeah, but we already saw them this summer. They already worked out all their issues at the Drew League. These guys look incredible, just roasting those fools down in LA.
Okay, well,
I think they're buddies. They're going to work it out because they both want to win, and they're both good catch-and-shoot players. They can both play off the ball pretty well.
It's going to take some work, but we saw what happened in the playoffs last year when the Rockets lost to the Spurs. James Harden was looking at guys because he has a lot on his shoulders with being the Mike D'Antoni, Steve Nash type. He was looking for guys to give the ball to, and Chris Paul can be that guy if they can work it out. I'm more worried about the Thunder having to get 3 guys involved.
Is that your pick? It doesn't sound like you're going with the Rockets.
I think they've got more talent overall than the Rockets, especially with the addition of Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. There's going to be integration problems, there's no doubt about it, because Russell Westbrook only plays at 1 speed. But he does like to get those other guys involved. So he will.
Does he?
He does. I mean, last year he averaged 10 assists a game. So he knows how to get guys the ball early on.
Hey, now, your favorite player, Rajon Rondo, also averaged 10 assists a game. I don't think the last 2 years the Thunder have been last in passes per game, even going back to the Kevin Durant years.
But who was he passing to?
not
last
Paul
year.
George
That's
and
the
Carmelo
problem.
Anthony.
Exactly.
That's fair. It's just going to be interesting. Melo going from a a 1 option to a number 3 option.
And I actually think depth concerns are kind of more so with the Thunder. At least the Rockets last year, they were a 55-win team. They had a lot of bench guys they brought back. They added Mbamute, they added PJ Tucker. Those are guys who are definitely going to be playing for that team. With the Thunder, you're not totally sure who's even going to be on the court with them outside of their big 3, which are going to be great. It'll just take a little bit of time for Melo and for Paul George to figure out how to be, I don't know, the number 2.5 each of them guys. I don't know.
Well, that is a question,
them,
actually,
but,
who is number 2 and who is number 3? Because Melo, someone asked him if he's going to come off the bench, and he laughed at that answer. That's actually not the worst idea in the world to have one of those guys.
He's not coming off the bench.
I know he's not going to.
It's better that he wants to play the 4.
I know,
He's
it's-
finally saying, okay, maybe I should play the 4, like that Knicks fans wanted him for a long time.
I mean, I'm just thinking at this stage of his career, at the start, the first 5 to 6 minutes of basketball don't mean anything. If you can get a guy out there, an all-star player, and maybe that second unit, he would kill any of those second units out there.
But then you look at the old Olympics teams that Carmelo was on,
Yeah.
and he was great being the 3rd or 4th guy and
Right.
comfortable allowing the other guys. And he is a great catch and shoot guy. His percentage was ridiculous last year. If he can be fine with that, I mean, they can score with anybody. They should be able to score with anybody.
And I know there's injury concerns with Kawhi Leonard, but here we are, writing off the Spurs. Don't even have to be in
that's
the
the worry.
conversation.
I mean, they were my
know it is
pick.
a worry,
They were
but
my pick
the
before he
Spurs
got
are
hurt.
always good, and
Yeah.
they're always there. But
Yeah, it's
again, it
just
comes
a
down to
lingering
plays.
problem. It didn't just happen now.
No, you're
That's
right.
the
You're
thing.
right. All right, next question here. We got 82 guys. Come on. Second question here. Actually, this one coming through Twitter. Super Dario, which is a great Twitter handle. He wants to know, what was the meme of the summer? Meme of the summer.
Can't pick just one. This team runs this league runs the social media game, right? There's so many. We had 1,000, so we had to count them down.
I hear the music.
There
yeah,
it is.
The first meme team of the season. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, number 5, LeBron started it early back in June. Pumped up during some workouts.
Bald bronze.
Yeah, it was bald for a second there.
This song is a pump-up song. So much so NBA players started mimicking him. This is at Harrison Barnes' wedding. Steph Curry getting it on, and then the Antetokounmpo bros getting it on. But this guy, he did it best.
Who is this guy?
He was
David.
put on earth to do
Dakin.
this.
No kid. That makes more sense. He nails it. At number 4, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Melo, Paul Millsap, all heading west this offseason, and in doing so, it helped turn the much less talented Eastern Conference into a living, breathing meme. It's Western Conference versus Eastern Conference. We got the Hulk smash there, Spartans versus pillow fights, just size difference in Judge and Altuve, and my favorite there, Stefan Urkel versus Steve Urkel.
At number 3, if training camp is any indication, the Knicks are going to provide us with some moments this season. Michael Beasley on the brain.
We are only capable of using 10% of our brain, right?
Yes.
You believe that? So who was the guy that used 11 that made it okay to say everybody's just using 10?
That isn't the right logic.
If you're only using 10% of something, that means you don't know the rest of the 90. You don't know the rest of the 90.
Yeah, you're
Oh.
right.
So I'm right. Perfect.
I'm so confused.
At number 2, Hoodie Mello was a late summer meme just because he started practicing in a hoodie and people were loving it. He was cash. Look at his 2K rating. He continued to wear the hoodie at training camp, and he sort of explained it a little.
It was just so much going on that was surrounding me that I just wanted to find a way that I can just focus in, and that's when Hoodie Mellow was created.
He hasn't taken it off. This is his actual media day photo. He's rocking the hoodie.
Heard he showers in it.
Hoodie Melo was great, but China Clay was better. This is Klay Thompson, because he had such a memorable time in China. The hashtag China Clay was born. Look at him having some fun. And there weren't all great moments.
Oops.
We had some bad ones, but hashtag China Clay.
This
what
one's
makes-
not
yeah.
great.
No, people had some fun with that one.
Tickling is coming back in 2017.
Oh, I hope not.
And then this dumpling is just too hot. China Clay.
He's out there right now. We might get a part 2 before the
That's true.
true.
Quick break when we return. The burning questions continue, including whether Bron and his Cavs are still the best in the East. Come on back. Back with the starters, where we continue to ask 82 burning questions about the upcoming season. And we're into the up-down report. You guys have the thumbs. We ask you to play along on Twitter, hashtag the starters, thumbs up or thumbs down. Question 3 overall, guys. Are the Cavs still the best team in the Eastern Conference?
Let's see those
Let's see the
thumbs.
thumbs. Yeah, not
You
shocked.
guys thumbs.
Yeah.
And LeBron. That's the answer.
As long as LeBron is playing.
Pretty much. I think
on a
us,
team in the
us
East,
four
he's
and could be his teammates, and they'd still be the favourite. No, honestly, we saw last year in the playoffs when LeBron decides to turn it on, no other team could really compete with him. The Cavs lost one game, and that was to the Celtics. Other than that, they swept all the way through. As long as LeBron is still in the Eastern Conference, they are the best team.
Yeah, they might not finish with the best overall record in the Eastern Conference just like last year, but once it's playoff time, like you're saying, LeBron turns it on. There's going to be a lot of learning. There was a lot of turnover with the Cavs this year. There's always a rocky start with LeBron teams, I feel like, when he gets a whole bunch of players together.
Yeah.
Happened in Miami, happened back in Cleveland. Probably will happen again this year, but once things get going, it's the LeBron factor.
They won a conference finals game by 50 points. because he is the best player in the game. 7 straight finals. You have to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's as simple as that. And I'm looking forward to their offense with Kevin Love at center. He's supposedly going to be starting at center. Tristan Thompson to the bench. So you got 3 shooters around LeBron and Derrick Rose who may start, or LeBron and Dwayne Wade who may start. I mean, they don't really care so much about their defense anyways during the regular season.
Yeah.
They kind of, let it go. That was, 21st last year during the regular season. So their offense could be better. With the Dwayne Wade addition, you can't question it.
No one taking the Celtics, despite obviously
this,
getting Kyrie.
Talking
and
about a
Gordon
lot
Hayward.
of turnover, I mean, they lost 4 of their 5 starters, so it's going to be an adjustment period for Brad Stevens. They've got some good players in Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, of course, but it's going to take a lot of time for those guys to get in and then to challenge a LeBron team who they lost to last year and then traded away one of their best players to LeBron's team, Isaiah Thomas. He's obviously out until early January, but it's going to take some time with the Celtics. They're still a good team, but they're not better than the Cavs.
Would you have the Celtics like at number 2 in sort of your hierarchy there of the Eastern Conference?
They're more the
LeBron
Wizards.
team?
They're more the Wizards. I like what the Wizards did last year. They had a great series against the Celtics, and I think John Wall's in for a huge season. Bradley Beal's in for another huge season.
Oh, here we go. It took one show for Lee to talk up Bradley Beal.
No, look, and Otto Porter, they signed him to that huge deal in the offseason
And their
as well.
bench is better.
Yeah, their bench
if
is
they
better.
had that bench against the Celtics last year, I think they win that second round series.
All right. Question 4. Moving on here, guys. Will Dirk Nowitzki finish the season ranked 5th all-time in scoring?
You bet. Yes, he's going to do it.
Wow.
Yes, this year is all about Dirk in Dallas. They're going to do whatever. We just talked about Kevin Love starting at center. Dirk is starting at center. Not because that makes their defense better, but because that makes their offense better. Because he's going to score points. They're going to pay Dirk in points this year. They haven't paid him the last few years. They're going to say, hey, Dirk, go get it. All you have to do is average 14 a game, and you'll get there.
Well, you have to average 14 a game, but you got to play 82 games.
Yeah, but
that's going to be the issue.
Last year he didn't play a lot of games, but the 3 years before that he missed 2 games, 5 games, and 7 games.
54 games he played last season.
Yeah, but the 3 years before that he missed about 4.5 games.
Well,
this is for Dirk.
Let's assume he plays around 69 or 70, which he's averaged over the last 3 games. Then he has to average around 17 points a game, which is not. Dirk's a great shooter, he's a great scorer. That's still a heavy workload for a guy at his age, his stage.
You know what?
This
This question is a who cares?
Yeah.
Because it's going to have no impact on Dirk's legacy or whether he goes to the Hall of Fame, whether he's 5th.
You're going to
outscoring Wilt Chamberlain is a pretty big accomplishment.
We're going to be talking about it in April.
But I'm not
It'll
saying,
be leading the A block.
I'm not even saying, it will be. But I'm not even saying Dirk's going to possibly retire. He might
not.
2 years.
No, he might
3
not.
years. Who knows? So
he might not.
He
But
eventually will do it.
But Carlisle, I think, is gearing up the lineup. Yes, he wants Nerlens Noel to come off the bench, but he wants the floor spread. I mean, Dennis Smith and Harrison Barnes are going to help Dirk get lots of points this year. He's going to do it easily to me.
All right, question number 5. Let's see if you care about this. Will Russell Westbrook again lead the league in triple doubles? 42 last year.
I think he will.
He does it again,
Wow.
despite
3 times.
adding Melo and Paul George.
But he's done it. He's led the league in the league with triple doubles when he had Kevin Durant there. So I think he knows how to play with superstars. It's not really an issue with him wanting the ball either, because he's going to go and get those rebounds. That's the only category that he might not be able to get a lot of triple doubles in, but he's going to get the points and the assists easily. So I think he does it. I think he doesn't get 42 though this year.
Yeah, the assists are going to come easier, like you're saying. It's the rebounds that are not going to be falling off the rim straight to him so he can go on fast breaks, because he's got other guys who can try and score this year. He's not going to get 42 triple doubles, but he led the league with 18 once, led it with 11 once. Maybe 7 gets it this year. Who's seen?
Yeah, the big names are there: Westbrook, Harden, James.
Harden's numbers should come down a little bit, right? Because his assists won't be there. He shouldn't average double digits in assists.
Is there like a dark horse sort of guy, maybe not to lead the league in triple doubles, but that can maybe sort of shock someone?
Oh, it's got to be Giannis, right? I think it's shocking that he's not even in the top 5 from last year. You would have assumed he had 15, just the way he plays and his versatility. He's the guy to me that can make the jump and maybe win it again.
I would throw an Al Horford in there too. I could see Al Horford getting a couple games where he notches 10 assists. He obviously gets the boards and the points because he's playing with some more superstars there, guys that can hit shots. You get some of those garbage sort of assists where you just kick it back out and Kyrie hits a 3. You can start racking it up. So give me Horford, not leading the league by any means, but sort of maybe shocking a few people. All right, next one here, guys. Question 6. Oh, this is the most important question. Will we reach 50 wedgies again this season?
You bet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to believe,
I love the
don't you?
confidence. I love the confidence.
Last year was the year of the wedgie. But this year, maybe the ball is juiced again. Maybe it's going to be sticking.
We got to get off to a good start. That was the key last year.
Yeah, big time.
November was a very, very profitable month for us. 13 wedgies. We've got to get off to a good start because then we were sort of always ahead of the game a little bit. When Tass had the chart going, we were always like 53, 54, so we had a little bit of wiggle room there.
Yeah, that's a good point. And look, the more three-pointers attempted, I believe, translates into more wedgies. Would you agree with that?
True.
100%. Totally. It's a 3-ball league. It's a wedgie league now, right? It's turned into a wedgie league. All right. And the ball is juiced, just like baseball, right?
That's exactly right. This is like summer of 98 was last year. This year we're going into 99. They got to figure out what to do with all these wedgies.
Will we get Shaq back in here to do something weird if we hit 50 or even surpass 51 from last year?
It's tradition.
It's tradition?
Yeah.
You want to do this again? We know Shaq would be up for it. He seemed to have a lot of fun playing.
I've got a lot of
giant
moves I left
underwear.
in my back pocket.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very small pockets, as you can see.
Okay,
From the
all right. So everybody says thumbs up for us hitting 50 wedgies again. Hopefully we break, what was it, 51 last year?
That's right. Yeah.
Playoffs count.
Playoffs count for us.
What I liked is there was a guy who just listens to the audio podcast of our show who said, I thought you guys were talking about actual wedgies on the basketball floor, like guys giving each other wedgies before I started watching the show.
Yeah,
What a weirdo.
That's weird, man. I mean, us tracking wedgies is weird to begin with, but that's even weirder. All right, when we return, the season preview steps into the crossfire. Lots more still to come.
Welcome to Crossfire. Trey will give Skeets and me 3 topics. We'll debate each one. At the end of it all, Trey will declare a winner. But a twist here in the previews. Winner stays on for preview number 2.
Woo!
He'll take on Lee. All right, Trey, what is our first
All right,
question?
round 1, first round, the 7th of our 82 burning questions, and we're already on award tour. Who will win 6th Man of the Year? Here we go.
This is Andre Iguodala's award to win. Finally, we know he is the most well-rounded player of all the guys who are up for this award year in and year out.
Doesn't get the buckets, Taz.
It doesn't matter. The voters know he's the best because 3 years ago he was 4th in voting. The last 2 years he's been 2nd in voting. It is time he bursts through the ceiling and wins the 6th man for the first time.
I love the idea, but they don't tend to give it to a player like Iguodala. They give it to a guy
He was second
who
last
scores a
year
lot of buckets,
and the
which
year
is
before.
why I'm going to go with Clippers guard Lou Williams. Before he got traded to the Rockets last year, when he was on the Lakers, he was averaging a career high 18.6 points per game, great shooting splits. He's going to get plenty of looks on the second unit with the Clippers there. He's sort of the new Jamal Crawford there under Doc. I like
He's
Sweet
already
Lou.
won it.
Sweet Lou gets more buckets than he gets women, and Sweet Lou is a ladies' man. He's going to do it
What does that
again.
have to do with anything?
He's going to do it again. He's a
It
ladies'
All
man.
matters, Tassett. All matters. Round 2, number 8 overall. We're just getting started. But what storyline are you already tired of? Here we go.
I am already tired of people saying that the Warriors have already won the championship. There is no point in doing this entire season. There's no point to the starters. What are we doing here? Let's pump the brakes on this. I get it. They're the favorites. They're amazing. Maybe they're even better. But too many things can change. Injuries, other teams getting better, maybe chemistry issues. Come on, let's play the season out here at the very least. That's the storyline.
The storyline I'm tired of, the Lakers might make the playoffs. Are you kidding? They're not playing in the Eastern Conference. They're playing in the West. I think there are literally 12 teams that are going to have higher records than them.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen. Look at the top 4. You mentioned the Warriors. Then you got the Rockets, the Thunder, and the Spurs. Then there's 4 teams with stars on them. The Grizzlies, Jazz, Blazers, Clippers, that should be better. And then 4 teams that got better. Pelicans, Wolves, the Nuggets, even the Mavs, who had a bad year last year, they're going to play for 13th, the Lakers are. With the Suns. And no disrespect to Brandon
That
Ingram.
was a lot of disrespect.
A little bit of disrespect, but
Yeah, that's how it works.
Number 9 coming up. Last season, the New York Knicks took home the dishonor of worst of the year But after a dramatic summer, the title's up for grabs. Guys, who has the best worst of the year potential? Here we go.
Well, I really hope I'm wrong. But it could be Dwight Howard again. Look at the four. He won it way back. He won this dishonor way back. Look at the 4 teams he's left. Every team is pumped when he leaves. So much so that Atlanta Hawks players were reportedly screaming into their phones out of sheer joy, according to Zach Lowe when he left. Yes, he's gone. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But Cody Zeller's a key player for them. Does he sit on the bench?
We'll see.
I don't know.
I'm going to go best worst of the year potential with LeVar Ball. Ooh. You said the Lakers were playing for 13th spot. Let's say the Lakers struggle out the gate here. Let's say Lonzo struggles. Let's say he's maybe benched in some fourth quarters for whatever reason.
People are lining up for LeVar Ball. He's not a loser. He's not the worst. He's the best.
If the Lakers struggle in the first couple of weeks, LeVar Ball will be calling Luke Walton Puke Walton. Guarantee it.
Whoa.
Guarantee it.
He's not even in the NBA.
I can see the
He's not winning.
All right, our very first winner of Crossfire is Tess Moss.
Oh, yeah.
Put on to face Lee Ellis in the Crossfire Arena tomorrow.
Wow.
It's going down.
Lee, get in here. What are you doing? Take him on, man. Take him down. Oh, nose to nose.
Can't get close to you with that big schnoz.
Oh, all right, we got to take a break. When we return, the fans have their say and decide who in the West are the Warriors' biggest challenger. Come on back. He does have a big shot. Tonight on NBA TV at 7 p.m. Eastern, it's an hour from now, Open Court, Coach's Edition. We got Brooks, Yeager, Kidd, Snyder, Mike Brown. Should be a good one. Whole lot of games on the network as well. Preseason action, of course. Rockets and Thunder. Fortunately, no Westbrook, but we will get Melo and Paul George in their new OKC kits. We got Suns, Blazers, and Raptors, Clippers from Hawaii.
Nice.
Lee will not be watching that one at 1 a.m. East. You'll be
1 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, you'll be sleeping like 5 hours by that point. We asked the fans on Twitter, which team is the Warriors' biggest Western Conference challenger? 50% going with the Thunder. Spurs coming in second there, 24%. Rockets, 20%. I guess a few people believing in your Wolves or your Nuggets.
Blazers,
your
maybe.
Lakers fans out there.
Lonzo.
Yeah. Coming up tomorrow, part 2 of the Starters NBA season preview series. Yes, this was just part 1 of 9, guys. We're going to get into who wins most valuable player. Can Westbrook go back-to-back? Will the 76ers make the playoffs? Do you trust the process? And who is the most underrated team in the association? I think that's a fun question. I feel like we're going to have a couple different teams out there. Let's hear from you guys, of course. Jump on Twitter. Get your votes in now. We'll get the polls up for each show as we go along here and as we count up to 82 burning questions and eventually the start of the NBA season.
We're almost there. Thank you for joining us today, folks. And remember, 82 games in a season, 82 burning questions. Get it?
Just got it. Brace the night, people.